Internet, Eric here. Going back to Elm Street once again. Slowly but surely, we're going to finish this retrospective series on the Nightmare on Elm Street films. We finally made it to Freddy's Dead, Final Nightmare. Final. Now this came out in 91, directed by Rachel Talalay. I'm pretty sure I just butchered her last name, but oh well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I discuss plot spoilers and specific scenes, and with the Freddy series known for its creative deaths, I'll probably spoil a bunch of those as well. So, if you haven't seen it yet, stop this, go watch it, or watch at your own risk. Now, basic plot is, it's now 10 years into the future, 10 years from now, which this came out in 91, so 2001. Forget the happy ending of Part 5, because now all, due to Freddy, obviously, all children and teenagers are dead. And it's caused all the parents to go Looney Tunes. And apparently there's one surviving teenager, and that is John, played by Sean Greenblatt. Unknowns to him, it's with Freddy's help that he's removed from Springwood, and eventually he's found walking around town, amnesia. He's called John because John Doe, and he's picked up by some police and taken to the local shelter, I guess, for wayward teens. He meets up with Maggie, played by Lisa Zane, which I believe is Billy Zane's sister. She believes taking him back to Springwood would trigger something, and they could possibly find out who the hell he is. Group of teens hide out in the van. They escape the I was going to say asylum, but the shelter with them. Their way to Springwood, and they have to deal with Freddy while John's trying to figure out who he is. They find out that Freddy had a child. John believes it is him. And eventually, after all that, they find out who Freddy's child really is. Remember I mentioned spoilers. And with the help of Doc, the dream psychologist, or whatever the fuck he is, played by Yaphet Kotto from Alien and The Running Man, They take the idea from Part 1 where Freddy has to be brought into the real world to be killed, and then, you know, everyone's saved. Okay. I've got such a love and hate relationship with this one. And it's mainly because what they've done to Freddy. When the series started, Freddy was this creepy, scary monster. Child killer. And as the series went on, he grew more and more popular. They threw some one-liners in it. By the time Freddy's Dead came out, he became the court jester of all these movie maniacs. I mean, first time we see him in this film is when he's terrorizing John, and he swoops down on screen riding a broom, complete with pointed hat, and says, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too." Okay. Now, don't get me wrong, Robert Englund does his best with what is fucking given to him. And lots of times he seems like he's having a lot of fun. You know, even with the bad puns, he gets it. You can see the smirk on his face. You can see, you know, you can tell he knows that this is kind of crappy, but he's gonna go out with style. So Robert is still really, really good in this. Sean Greenblatt, he's fine. He's a good lead. He's likable. You want to find out about his past. He's got good chemistry with Lisa Zane. I like her character, Maggie, as well. She is very decent as the lead girl. And, of course, you know, I mentioned spoilers. You find out she is actually Freddy's child. And her pursuit of finding that out is believable, it's likable, it's sympathetic. And then when you realize, when she realizes what Freddy's plan is. You know, all the children in Elm Street are dead. Freddy wants to go from town to town, killing all the children, and she knows she's got to stop him. And at first, she didn't believe any of this dream shit. You know, her and Doc bumped heads on that, and she thought it was all bullshit. And then eventually, she believed it, and she says, "We're gonna do what we got to do to kill this fucker." Liked her a lot. Yaphet Kotto is Doc. He's fine. He's fine. He's nothing special. Now let's get to the three other teens. We have Spencer, who, what the fuck is it? Breckenmeyer from like Rat Race and Clueless and a bunch of other teen movies. He plays Spencer, the stoner, video game addict. He's fine. He's likable. Nothing special. We have Carlos, played by Ricky Dean Logan, who I only know from like a brief scene in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Back to the Future 3. Plays Carlos, the deaf Mexican or Latino, whatever you'd say. Very likable. He gets annoyed by Spencer, but he still considers him a buddy, I guess. And his best friend is Tracy. Played by Leslie. I believe her last name is pronounced Dean. I hate this character so much. She's this tough girl. She's got baggage. You know, her father molested her, and so she's got to be tough, and she's always doing martial arts, and she's got to act like this tough badass. But you find out, she's doing this as a front, because of how abused she was when she was a kid, and blah blah blah. I'll tell you what. This chick's performance is so grating and horrible. She's such a fucking bitch. You don't care about her at all. Okay? Her acting is horrible. All she does is yell and scream and swear and talk through her teeth and I'm gonna fucking kick your ass, Freddy, and stuff like that. You just want Freddy to take his glove and just slash her throat so she won't talk anymore. Worst character in this film. Horrible. And I'm talking about worse than when Freddy's flying around like the fucking witch. Bad. Hate this character. And she fucking survives. Okay, I got that out. Kills are okay. Some are very creative. Carlos, he's deaf. His mother abused him. I won't ruin that scene because Freddy reenacts it and shows how Carlos became deaf. And eventually, Freddy makes him deaf. And he needs a hearing aid again. Freddy gives it to him. It pulls out his eardrum. In a really grotesque scene that my wife, every time we watch this, she has to turn her head. She can't watch it because of the sound effects, the special effects, and then Ricky Dean Logan's wonderful, painful performance. Really like it. And then the rest of that scene is anything that makes any noise hurts Carlos, makes him bleed from the nose and other things. Like Freddy drops a pin from 20 feet up in the air. And you can hear the wind whistling, and it causes pain, and this and that, and eventually nails on a chalkboard. Put two and two together. Painful death. I like it. I was going to say Carlos again. Spencer I liked because he's this video game addict. He gets brought into a video game after a really cool cameo by Johnny Depp doing the This Is Your Brain on Drugs PSA. And it's interesting special effects. He's literally, it's him in front of a green screen fighting a video game Freddy. It's fine until you see what what Spencer is doing in the real life, bouncing around to like Looney Tunes type special effects. So hit and miss. I like it and don't like it. And here we go with John. My problem with John's death is I like Sean Greenblatt. I like his performance, but what really gets me is it shows how cartoony Freddy has become. Eventually, Sean is hanging up on a parachute, falling down slowly. You see Freddy come down from the top of his parachute. He's spinning around like a fucking cartoon character. It's just stupid. They had their little bit of dialogue, and Freddy reveals that he was using John just so they can find Freddy's daughter. And he cuts the parachute cords, so John's falling. And this is what gets me. Freddy literally pushes a bed of spikes under John. And it's right out of Looney Tunes, and that's exactly what I mean. He's become a cartoon character. And it's hit or miss, man. It really is. And then he dies a decent way. So, deaths are hit and miss. Performances, hit and miss. What I do like about this film, though, we find more of Freddy's backstory. That's what I liked in Part 3. I liked a lot in Part 5 in those reviews. We find out how Freddy was abused as a child and picked on in school. We find out how he was abused by his stepfather, played by Alice Cooper. So I really like learning that. It tries to make Freddy a sympathetic character, but it doesn't work, obviously, because you know what Freddy's done. But I really, really like learning that stuff. I like that. We have another cameo by Roseanne and Tom Arnold when they go to Springwood and they meet all the crazy. They're at a town fair. There's no kids because they're all dead, and all the parents are just fucking loony. And when they see the teenagers there, they want the teenagers to go away, and they meet Roseanne and Tom Arnold, and Roseanne wants to take them home because her children are gone. And then, Tom Arnold, yells at Ethel. And he says, "No, we can't have the children because they bring him." So I like that little weird scene. So a lot of that type of creativity is good. Soundtrack is fine. You got some rock music. You got some good scores. What else was I going to say? This movie was known for being 3D in theaters. When Maggie goes in the dream, she puts on 3D glasses. That's when you would have to put on the 3D glasses, seeing them in the theaters. I sadly did not see this in the theaters, and I would have loved to. That whole sequence, when she's trying to bring Freddy out, she learns what happened. You find out what happened when Maggie was a child and what Freddy did. It's cool seeing Robert Englund before getting burned, and you find out what he did to his wife in front of the daughter because the wife found out his secret room in the basement and stuff like that. Robert does a really good job playing a sweet father and then a pissed off, vengeful husband, and I really like that stuff. But with the 3D, it's not so bad. Okay, there's some shitty scenes, like when Freddy gets his glove knocked off and it's flying towards the camera. It probably looked cool in the theaters, but on VHS, or I have the Blu-ray upstairs, crappy, but neat. Like when she's throwing knives, when Maggie's throwing knives and stuff at Freddy, and she walks towards him with the glove, and the glove is slowly going towards, how do I do this? Slowly towards the camera like that. Really neat. I like that final fight after Freddy's brought into the real world. I like that fight between Maggie and Freddy. It's entertaining. I like it a lot. Even though fucking Tracy is there yelling at the top of her lungs. And her dream was decent. Her dream made you uncomfortable when she met Daddy, her dad. And you find out, like I said, she was molested earlier. And of course, it has to be this big, fat, sloppy-looking dude with wearing the wife beater and the sweat stains. And just a disgusting scene. But, what else? I mean, like I said, I would have liked it more if they didn't focus so much on Freddy being so fucking goofy. Case in point, I chuckle at it, I think more so because it's dumb than being funny. When Carlos loses his hearing in his dream, Freddy walks behind him and he's yelling like this and you can't see him, and he takes his hat off and he jumps around trying to make noise. And it's just like, Then there's some other scenes when there's a scene where John falls down a hill. And the first thing I think of is A Princess Bride, because he keeps falling down this fucking hill. It looks brutal up until the end when you can tell the actor is jumping and doing somersaults. And a scene where he gets hit by the bus and Freddy says no screaming while the bus is in motion. Too much puns here. Yeah. What else? Is there anything else I can praise? Probably not. Freddy's dead. Love it and hate it. Probably my weakest film in the series so far. Fuck it. I will spoil it. I only got a few other things to say in this film-wise, and the rest I only have a few more films to go in the series. This is probably the weakest one for me. Even though there are some fun parts, I can't deal with the fucking puns. It's not like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze puns, but still, it's a little too much for me, and I wish Freddy wasn't such a joke in this one. But I like the John character, I like the Maggie character, I like the cameos by Alice Cooper and Johnny Depp and Roseanne and Tom Arnold. Soundtrack is fine. Inagata DeVito, they threw that in there. Carlos's death is really good. The last fight sequence between Maggie and Freddy I like, but goddamn, that Tracy character is fucking horrible. The puns, the cheesiness, it's too much. So overall, Watch it because it was supposedly the last in the series. Oh, I do like during the credits they have a best of montage from all the films. That is really cool, to an Iggy Pop song. That's really cool. I'll give them points for that too. So overall, meh. Love, hate it. Either way, not one of the best. Like I said, probably the worst. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, click the bell, comment below. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you really enjoy Freddy's Dead, or at least enjoy it a hell of a lot more than me. Send in your requests, all that jazz. Check out my other playlists. I've done retrospectives on the Friday the 13th series, Child's Play, and Leprechaun, and I got playlists on everything. So give it a look. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell nobody. Cheers, and Freddy's Dead.